Hey guys, how we doing? Appreciate everybody coming out. I'll do a quick review of the Idaho game and then get into some of the Buffalo stuff, and then open up to questions. But I'd start by saying, I thought our players of the week on offense was KJ Hamler and Mike Miranda. I thought both those guys played extremely well for a number of different reasons. Defensively, Etor Gross-Matos and John Reed. And then on special teams, Jordan Stout and Jonathan Sutherland. Some notes offensively, the positives, we hit our explosive play goal. We were at 18%, which was great. We had tremendous balance with over 300 yards passing and 300 yards rushing, which is really good. We were very pleased with the last couple drives of the game. You're talking about 14 plays, 10 plays, and 7 plays ending with touchdowns. And let me also kind of hit on that too. I thought it was really valuable, obviously, but also really special for guys like Nick Uri to not only be able to get in a game, but be able to play and run the offense and have a chance to score a touchdown. I know there's a lot of different discussions about scoring in these types of games and things like that, but it's my belief that you get the backups in the game and you allow them to play. I think they deserve that opportunity. It was great for Levis to get that, those opportunities. But a guy like Nick Uri scored a touchdown. That's something he'll take with him the rest of his life, and he's earned that. So really, really happy for that. Opportunities for growth. Obviously, we got to be better on third down. There's no doubt about it. And although offensively we didn't put the ball on the ground, the ball was in jeopardy a few times. We just didn't have it as high and tight as I would like to see. So we got to be better there. Defensively, I thought for our first game, probably the best first game execution we've had since we've been here. We got some things we got to get cleaned up. Some of our signals and our checking with me's in terms of getting all 11 guys when the offense checks and we want to check, we got to make sure we're getting all those things communicating. I thought our effort and I thought our tackling was good for an early season game. And I thought our young guys performed really well on the defensive side of the ball. On special teams, we already talked about owning the ball. We put the ball on the ground twice, lost one of them, which put our defense in a tough spot. And then we just had some personnel issues from defense to special teams, whether it's punt return or whatever it may be. We just weren't as clean as we needed to be with substitutions, and there was a lot of substitutions on Saturdays, especially as we got into third team and fourth team guys on the field. So we got to be cleaner there. There's no doubt about it. Getting into Buffalo, got a lot of respect for Coach Leopold. He's a guy I've gotten to know really well. When you look at his record at Wisconsin Whitewater, it's ridiculous. I think he's done a great job, at Buffalo. Just a really good guy that we've gotten fairly close over the last couple of years. Returning 15 starters. I do think they're a program that's an interesting program to look at. When it comes to the transfer portal, I think they lost 5 returning all-conference players. Challenging. We've had some discussions about that in the off-season, but returning 15 starters, 6 on offense, 6 on defense, and 3 at the specialist positions. They're 1-0, beat Robert Morris this past weekend. We're also talking about a team, excuse me, that won 10 games last year, and we're getting votes in the top 25 polls. So obviously they've done a great job. I thought last year they did some really fantastic things. He's got a core group of guys, kind of like I do, that have been with him for a long time. His offensive coordinator was with him at Wisconsin Whitewater. Coach Koltnicki has done a really good job. You look at their numbers last year, they broke all types of records for the University of Buffalo. They're a 12 and 11 personnel team for the most part. They're going to run, inside zone. They're going to run the stretch play, the counter wide. Last week they did not throw the ball much, only 10 times, but you look at what they did last year, obviously with a veteran quarterback, they did some really good things in the passing game. So we're not really sure. Did they do that because it was the first game and they didn't feel like they needed to? Did they not do that because they had a first-year redshirt freshman starting quarterback, and they just didn't want to put too much on his plate? That's what you're not sure of. And these early, season games can be challenging like that. You look at who we're impressed with. We're impressed with their offensive line. They are physical on the O-line and really at tight end as well. But their left tackle, number 67, their left guard, number 72, their right guard, number 65, and their right tackle, number 73. I'm not gonna list out last names because some of them are difficult to pronounce, and I don't want to disrespect any of those guys. But we love how they play on film. They are tough, physical, and play hard. And I think the tight ends complement them as well. Defensively, same thing. Another core guy that came with him from Wisconsin Whitewater. Coach Borland does a really good job. They're a base 4-3 team. I would say they're more of a fundamental team. They're going to do what they do, and they do it well. They're a quarters team. Their safeties are really, really aggressive downhill guys. Their linebackers do a great job in the box. They're going to play mainly quarters, variations of quarter. They will play some fire zone 33 as well. We like their DN number 50. We like their will linebacker number 20, and their free safety number 9, Joey Banks. Obviously, this team, I didn't mention their running back. He obviously had a great year for him. There's actually 5 guys, including number 20, the will linebacker, and the running back. There's 5 guys on this team that Cam Sullivan-Brown went to high school with in Maryland that we're familiar with as well through the recruiting process. And then their special teams coordinator, Coach Anatolu, I hope I'm saying that right. They got 3 starters returning. The punter, who's also the holder, a little bit like Blake Gillikin is for us, and then their long snapper as well. So, I thought we had a great crowd last week. I want to thank all the fans and everybody for coming out. Tremendous opening game for us, and crowd and support and environment, which is special. We do not take for granted. We know how blessed we are to have the type of support that we do, but we're going to need that plus more this week. I'd love to see this game sold out. Be a great environment, a great opportunity to get out with your family and enjoy college football and enjoy Happy Valley. So hopefully have a great crowd for Buffalo this week. So open up the questions.
Start with Rich Scarswell from the Readinville.
Good afternoon, James.
Hey Rich, how are you?
I'm well, how are you?
Good.
Now, in mid-August, after one of your practices, you said your offensive line is still a work in progress. And what have you seen from that group since then in terms of execution, attitude, and what has and can C.J. Thorpe bring to that group?
Well, I didn't hear the last part, I'm sorry.
I said, what has and can C.J. Thorpe bring to that group?
Yep, great point. So first of all, I think Will Fries is playing with a lot of confidence right now. For about the second half of last year, he had a nagging injury that was problematic for him. But I think, he's playing at a high level right now with a lot of confidence. Des Holmes is the guy that we're really excited about and starting to come on for us. So that gives us, 2 guys there, as well as Caden Wallace, who we plan on playing all year long. Young, exciting player. C.J. Thorpe, as you guys know, we moved him over to defensive line last year for depth. We're in a different situation now, but he brings an edge. You saw a few glimpses of that on Saturday. Extremely physical in the running game, plays with a nastiness, plays with an attitude that we need. I think Mike Miranda, as you saw, was our player of the week, playing so many different positions for us. We like that combination. Michael Mennett, has played a lot of football here, very, very experienced. Mike can also back up at center. I think between Mike and Will, those 2 guys obviously have played a lot of football for us, had great leadership with those 2. And then Gonzalez, Gonzalez as well. I know is excited about his senior year. He's the one senior that we do have. And I know he's excited about playing this year and playing at a high level. And then again, Mike allows us to keep those guys fresh. Rasheed Walker, we think, has got a very bright future, very talented, very athletic. And then again, Des. So I just think as a group, we probably have more guys that we think are ready to compete at this level that we can put in games with 2 guys like Des and Mike Miranda. that create depth and a rotation for us, which I think is going to be valuable. So we're going to continue building. I thought we played well, on Saturday, and we need to do that again this Saturday, and then be able to go in to the rest of the season, with that group feeling confident and playing at a high level.
Derek Polaris, Wilkes-Barre Times leader.
Hi, James. How are you?
Good, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing well. James, what stood out to you about Jonathan Sutherland's growth since you arrived, and what are maybe some of the traits that made him a choice for captain by many in the program?
Yeah, I think you guys, as you continue to get to know him over these next couple of years, you're going to love him. I mean, he is a kid that is very serious about his craft, and how he goes about his business. That's in the weight room, that's for study hall, that's for school. That's obviously with the game of football and his practice habits. I've been talking about him, inside Lash Building with our team as a guy that's got great habits and really does everything right. I mean, you go down the weight room in between classes, he's down there stretching. You go down there in between classes and he's off to the side on the jugs machine, or he's doing what Alvin's got a group called Supple Line, which is stretching and things like that. It's just he's that guy that's gonna always do the little extras, watching tape, watching video, asking questions. Every play for him is the Super Bowl. I mean, that's just kind of how he is. Got two great parents that are involved. Kid out of Canada. That area has become really good for us. We want to continue to grow there. But he's just been phenomenal, and he's one of those guys. There's no question in anybody's mind that he's earned everybody's respect in the program: players, coaches, trainers, doctors, academic staff. Because it's just kind of how he goes about his business. Very mature approach. So I'm a big fan of his.
Mark William, Cheltenham Morning Call.
Hi, James. How are you?
Good, Mark. How are you?
Good. Audio good? Making sure.
He said, is the audio good?
Yeah, the audio's good. Sorry.
Anyway, what did your off-season study turn up regarding the disparity last season between fumbles forced and recovered? And in what ways did you address that difference in meetings and practice? Because after the game you had mentioned, I think it was Tariq with a stupid score on like an incomplete pass, and that seemed to be one of the issues you were talking about.
Yeah, I think one of the things that we saw on defense is obviously the best way to create turnovers is make sure that you're going for them consistently. So, and I think in the passing game, that's always been emphasized, but I think in the run game sometimes we're not taking enough shots at the ball, whether we're trying to punch it out or strip it out, or putting our hat on the ball or whatever it may be. And you look not only with us but other programs, obviously the more times you take shots at the ball, the more chances that you have of getting it out, and we probably haven't done enough of that. It's also a fine line in practice, especially when the offense is going against the defense, because when you try to strip the ball out like that, we want that on the offensive side of the ball for ball security purposes, but not when you get to the point where you sling a guy to the ground or something like that. But defensively, I think it was very clear and obvious that we need to take more shots at the ball. Offensively, it's really just the fundamentals of making sure that the ball's in the outside arm, that the ball is high and tight, and that you're not switching the ball. We saw that last night on television, that you're not switching the ball. And then we try to use examples like, I'm going to talk about, that game last night is 14-all going into halftime. And they get a turnover right before the half that results to points, and the game starts to swing from there. So I try to emphasize it and show the impact of turnovers as much as I possibly can. But offensively, it hasn't changed a whole lot. Defensively, it's about our ability and our willingness to go after the ball as much as we possibly can.
Frank Bonanni, your daily record.
Hi, James. Good to talk to you today.
You say it's good to talk to you, Tom?
Thank you. Yeah.
It's good to talk to you too.
Your running backs, you have four next to all of them on the depth chart. Can you describe a little bit more how close they all are in the competition? And is it difficult at all to manage that as a coach right now?
No, I actually think the opposite. We probably could have listed 5. I thought that run that Yuri had was phenomenal on Saturday. I mean, it was a really good run. But no, I think it's quite the opposite. When you have 5 running backs all score a touchdown and a couple with multiple, there's a lot of people that are getting opportunities and are getting opportunities to make an impact in the game, and I think that creates a healthy position, and I think that creates a healthy locker room. So, I think as the season goes on, there's going to be weeks that it's going to get tricky. There's going to be a guy that gets hot that you go with. But obviously, whenever we can play multiple backs and they all have success and all score touchdowns, I don't know if I've ever been a part of that before. 5 running backs, 5 separate running backs all scoring a touchdown, pretty special. So at this point, I think it's working extremely well, but obviously it's very early in the season.
Joe Giuliano, Philadelphia Inquirer.
Hello, James. How are you?
Good, Joe. How are you, buddy?
Hi, thank you. I wanted to ask you about Lamont Wade. Obviously, he was in the transfer portal after the last season and came back. I just wondered if you could characterize the nature of the conversations you had with him and his parents, and how you addressed, maybe getting some more playing time this season.
Yeah, to be honest with you, not a whole lot different. Those conversations, don't really change. Whenever guys want to come and meet with me, or their parents want to come meet with me, you just as upfront and as transparent and honest as you can possibly be. I'm not a big believer in making promises in the recruiting process or making promises with players, because that can create some tough situations and dynamics. We're going to play the guys that earn it, and Lamont's earned it. I think one of the things I think I've mentioned before is, a lot of times when you get transfers like George Stout, who's doing a great job for us, and a lot of people will say, see, he needed a fresh start somewhere. Well, it may just be the fact that he's a year older, and has matured. And I think that's the thing with Lamont. I think we would all recognize and all agree with that. Both the positives and the adversity that you go through in life, they make you who you are. And Lamont right now, the success that he's having and the confidence that he's playing with and the confidence that our coaching staff has in him is a byproduct of everything that he's been through over the last 3 years. The recruiting process, the early opportunities that he got, the early opportunities that he didn't get, the adversity, maybe some of the pressure that he was putting on himself, the expectations, external expectations. I think, all those things happen for a reason. I think he's in a great place right now, and obviously we're happy that he's here. And the one thing that I probably talked about, during that process more than anything is the Penn State degree, which is the most powerful thing and the most important thing. And I think a lot of times that's my probably only issue with this whole transfer portal is the NCAA, in my opinion, and college athletics used to be academics driven, and for us to think that any of these decisions are anything more than football decisions, I don't think is accurate. I think most of these decisions are being driven by football, where the college athletics that I grew up with was driven based on academics. And don't get me wrong, the athletic experience was very, very important as well, but it was in that order. And what I'm seeing right now is a little bit of a shift. That's to me, somewhat concerning.
Mike Gross on History Newspapers.
Good afternoon, James.
How are you?
I'm great. How you doing?
Good, real good.
Damian Barber, I don't think played last week. He wasn't on the report. Can you tell us why he didn't play, and will he be ready to go this week?
Yeah, he'll play this week. He didn't play last week. He was suspended for violation of team rules.
Donnie Collins, Scranton Times Tribune.
Good job, Chris.
How you doing, James?
Hey, Donnie.
You mentioned the celebration after Nick Yuri's touchdown last week, and he got a lot of attention on social media after the game, after the touchdown run. What does he do behind the scenes that makes him so easy for his teammates to root for?
Yeah, he's just, he's a guy that comes to work every single day. He's got a huge smile on his face. He's very appreciative, and goes out and gets his team better every single day by the way he practices, whether that's in drills, whether that's on our developmental squad, whether that's for the defense, whether that's for the offense. I don't know when it was, but there was a camp a few years ago where we had some injuries, and literally we wouldn't have been able to have camp without Nick Yuri. He took like every rep in practice. And we built water breaks in for him because he was the only one going. So again, he's just one of those guys, how he's been academically, how he's been socially, the type of teammate he's just been phenomenal. So I think everybody recognizes when you get guys like that, and maybe their name's not in the newspaper, they're not getting playing time, or so on and so forth. When those guys are able to have some success and get in the game, it means a lot. You see a guy like Saquon Barkley, give him a shout out. These are the guys that you're going to remember. I think, obviously it's easy to remember the star players and the impact that they had, but I think on a team and a brotherhood, within our building and within our locker room, it's those guys, that I think ultimately, earn the most respect, because it is all about the team. It is all about the university. It is all about the program. It is all about their teammates. Because the reality is, some of these guys may go 4 or 5 years and never see the field, and never get that type of positive affirmation. So I think it's wonderful. And again, I think that goes back to this last game. Allowing those guys to get in the game and actually play. I know we had some discussions as a staff, and me and Chris had some discussions and things like that. You look at the score, and no one, I would say, necessarily likes to see that in college football, but I will tell you, I also believe very strongly that those guys deserve the ability to get in the game and play. They should be able to go in and play, and that's what they were able to do, and that's why the locker room and the team reacted the way they did.